Ever heard of the 100 men versus one gorilla thing? Yeah, well, that whole trend got me thinking. Thinking about a time I had my own, much less even, encounter with one. Trust me, it wasn't a funny meme. It was real, and I almost didn't make it out. It was a few years back. I was feeling pretty good, Had some time off. The weather was perfect. So I decided to go for a hike. Nothing too crazy, just a trail I knew pretty well, a few hours in and out. The kind of hike where you can clear your head, listen to the birds, and just breathe. The first part was great. The sun was warm, the air was fresh, and the trees were amazing. I was just walking along, minding my own business, maybe humming a little tune to myself. I wasn't really paying attention to anything specific, just enjoying the peace and quiet. Then I heard something. Not a bird, not a squirrel. Something bigger. A rustling in the bushes off to my left. My first thought was maybe a deer or a bear, but I'd never seen a bear on this trail before. I stopped walking and just listened. The rustling got louder, and then, out from behind a thick bush, came a gorilla. Seriously, a gorilla. I froze. Like I said, I froze when I first saw it. My brain just wouldn't process what I was seeing. A gorilla on this trail? It felt like something out of a movie, not real life. But there it was, this massive, powerful creature just a few yards away. Its eyes, man, they were dark and deep, and they seemed to be looking right through me. It wasn't like looking at a dog or a cat. There was something ancient and wild in those eyes, and I could feel its power radiating off of it, even from that distance. When it made that low huffing sound, it was like a warning. Not a loud roar yet, but a deep rumble in his chest. It was saying, I see you, and I'm not happy you're here. That's when the fear really kicked in. Not just surprise, but a cold, heavy dread that settled in my gut. I tried to back away slowly, remember? Every muscle in my body was screaming at me to turn and sprint, but I knew that was the worst thing I could do. I'd read that you shouldn't run from a predator, and even though a gorilla isn't technically a predator of humans, it felt like one in that moment. So I took tiny, careful steps backward, my eyes still on the gorilla. But then it did that roar, and it wasn't just a sound. It was a force. It vibrated through the air, through the ground, and right into my bones. It was pure, raw power, and it was aimed at me. And that's when it moved. It didn't just walk. It moved with incredible speed and agility for something so big. It covered the distance between us in what felt like a blink of an eye. I finally turned to run, my legs pumping as hard as they could, but I knew I wouldn't make it. I wasn't fast enough, not even close. I felt its breath on my back for a split second, hot and heavy. And then the impact. It wasn't a punch, not exactly. It was more like being hit by a truck. A solid, heavy force that just lifted me off my feet and sent me flying. As I was in the air, for that brief moment, I saw the ground rushing up to meet me. And I remember thinking, this is it. This is how it ends. Hitting the ground, that was the last conscious thing I remember. It was a jarring, painful impact. I think I heard a crack, but I can't be sure. The pain was sharp and sudden, and then darkness. It wasn't like falling asleep. It was like being shut down. 1 second I was there, feeling the pain and fear, and the next, nothing. No thoughts, no feelings, just blank. The next thing I remember is a voice. A kind voice saying my name. And then the feeling of being moved. I was in and out of being awake, but I could hear snippets of conversation. Something about gorilla attack and needs help. When I finally properly woke up, everything was blurry. I blinked a few times, and then I saw a ceiling, a white ceiling, and a bunch of machines beeping around me. I was in a hospital bed. A nurse came over and saw I was awake. She had a kind smile and explained what had happened. I'd been found by another hiker who had seen the whole thing, or at least the aftermath. They were the one who called 911 and stayed with me until help arrived. They saved my life. It took a while to recover. I had some broken ribs and a pretty bad concussion, but I was alive, and that was all that mattered. So, yeah, When I see those 100 men versus one gorilla jokes online, it hits a little differently for me because I know firsthand how powerful and dangerous those animals can be. It's not a game. It's not a meme. It's a reminder how small we are in the face of nature and how lucky I am to be here to tell the story. If you enjoy the story, don't forget to subscribe for more. We will be coming up with more interesting and amazing real-life events and stories.